Hi parents, Namaskar. Welcome to yet another session in parenting. Before we move ahead, I would like you to get reminded of why did I start with this series. We did notice that our age as parent is just as much as that of our child, because the day the child was born, was the parent born as well. We put the child through a lot of education system, 20-25 years, and not just a formal education system, also education with respect to how to behave, how to socialize, how to be with people, etc. etc. However, we take it for granted that the day we become parents biologically, we have also acquired the respective skills, and that is not the truth. And so, an important question: how much of parenting skill understanding do we undergo? Not really. And so, with the same agenda, I am here again with you. I am Richa Sahai, your parenting coach. So today we are here again with an interesting question. And the question is that of perfect parenting. And how do one be a perfect parent? Of course, just by one way, by having a child who is perfect. And what does that mean? That means the child must do whatsoever perfectly. Draw perfectly, sing perfectly, dance perfectly, behave with people perfectly, be in their studies perfectly. Oh my God, the list can actually go on and on. So for everything, what we do to the child, we tell them, is this the way to be? You can do better. You still have a room. Do it like this. Do it like that. Why don't you pay attention to this? Why don't you pick this up like that? And we have so much of expectation. Have you ever noticed trying to be a perfect parent actually burdens us? So the first thing that I want you to do, unburden yourself. Please put off that burden of being a perfect parent. Why? Can I ask you a question? Are you a perfect person? No. When you are not a perfect person, when you know there is so much of room of improvement in you, what makes you feel that the child would be perfect ever? The child is beautiful with his imperfections. And the moment you accept it, it is going to be easy for you. Much, much easier for you. But let's get into the psychology of what brought this idea of perfect parenting. How this idea of perfect parenting, perfect child came into our mind. Well, there is a very interesting the common talks that happens. A child is like a clean slate. You can shape the child the way you want. Are these not familiar words to you? I'm sure they are. But have you ever stopped to question, okay, is child really the clean slate? Can I really shape the child in any way that we could? Because if that is so, I would be still wondering, why is it so that a few children, they pick up things very fast? Few, they are very easygoing. A few have huge tantrums. Few are very messy. Few are little more organized. Different traits, different children. If they all are clean slate, what makes them so different in their behavior? Where is this difference in behavior arising? Because to a 1-year-old, 2-year-old, 3-year-old child, we possibly haven't taught so much. But the answer lies in the very fact that the child is not a clean slate. Yes, let me repeat this for you. A child is not a clean slate. When a child is born, he is born with certain conditioning. He is born with certain patterns. he is born with certain tendencies. In fact, today even researchers talk about this in a different language. They tell us that the brain has got 10 lobes, 5 on the left and 5 on the right. Each brain lobe is responsible for certain behavior, certain activity. So one brain lobe could dominate the interpersonal behavior, one leadership, one the gross motor skills, one the fine motor skills, one the creativity, one the logical part, etc. So there are 10 brain lobes and 10 different areas that they have defined. If a child is born with average fine motor skills, I'm afraid putting the child into or expecting the child to be very good at handwriting, drawing may not be a good idea. If a child has a huge logical brain, then you know that you just can't dictate the child like that. The child would demand reasons for everything. So what if the child's gross motor skills are not very developed? They would not be very good at sports, especially the ones that demand the whole body to move, the legs to move. So maybe cricket, football, all the kind of outdoor ones. If the child's interpersonal behaviors are dominant, are very good, you know the child will be wonderful with people and with the self. So different brain lobes and different function. And you know what is interesting? The interesting thing is that 80% of these brain lobes, they develop when the child is in the womb itself. And as per the scientists, the rest 20%, they develop by the time the child is 5 years old. So the child is not born as a clean slate. Can you keep this in your mind? Please do not push your child too much to become perfect in everything. If you will be little observant, you would simply know what is that the child is picking up. As a parent, our job is to just give them exposure so that they are able to understand what are things, and whatever they are naturally born with, the natural talents, they will start showing the same. At the same time, I also want to tell you that this does not mean that the talents which are not born with cannot be developed, cannot be nurtured. They surely can be. However, the only challenge is you will have to do it consciously. Don't expect it to just happen. There is something that comes naturally with the child, and there is something that the child by choice works upon. Let's not forget, every child is an intelligent human being. Every child is an intelligent individual. They have the capacity to understand. What they need is somebody who is willing to make them understand and not give them commandments. So please remember, a child is not born as a clean slate. Things which are not natural to them can only be inculcated with practice. But you may would like to really choose what you would like the child to practice. Do you really want the child to practice a very good handwriting when the fine motor skills are not very good? An average handwriting is good enough. So be with the child, watch them, observe them, don't push them, and don't forget, the child will not do everything as per you have directed, as per you teach. The child will pick up things from you based on their conditioning, their tendencies, their patterns. Their patterns are not free, not at all. I hope this has brought some clarity to you. I look forward to your comments and your questions in the comment section so that I can address them in the upcoming videos. Till then, remember it, keep observing, Keep nurturing the child and your relationship. Happy parenting.